Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to St. Mary's University series on different topics related to the fields of business. My name is Mary Jacobs, and I'm the Associate Dean of the School of Business and Technology at St. Mary's University and also the MBA Program Director. And with me is Dr. Matt Bluem, who's the Graduate Program Director of the Human Resource Management Program here at St. Mary's. And we are very excited to spend some time with you today to go through our first in a series of 6 topics related to business over the next several months. So we wanted to welcome you, tell you a little bit about the format. So this will be a Q&A format between Dr. Bluem and myself. He'll do a bit of an introduction before he gets started. And then we've allowed time at the end of our time here together for you to ask some questions. So we do ask that you've got questions to please pose them in the chat. Or you're welcome to come live and pose your question as well. But we do have plenty of time towards the end. So in the next 30 minutes, our topic will be on career opportunities and trends in human resource management. And Dr. Bluem, I'm going to turn it over to you for an introduction to get us started.
Thank you so much, Mary. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be with you today. Again, I'm Dr. Matt Bluem, and I'm the director of the Master of Arts in Human Resource Management here at St. Mary's. And I've been with St. Mary's since 2008, working with on a variety of business programs here in the bachelor's and the graduate school. And before my time here at St. Mary's, I worked in the financial sector and a few different nonprofit organizations in a variety of different roles. And I'm very excited to be with you all today to talk about human resource management.
Excellent. Matt, I'm going to get us started with the first question. So is human resource management a good career path?
Yes, human resource management is an excellent career path. We see opportunities in human resources in small organizations, large organizations. Here in the Twin Cities area, there are many opportunities as well as nationally and internationally. That's one thing I love about career opportunities in human resources is that no matter the type of organization, the small, large, for-profit, nonprofit, if there are people that work for the organization, they need human resource professionals to help manage that. So wonderful opportunities. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, for human resource managers, the position of human resource manager, the demand is projected to grow by 6% over the next 10 years. And for the role of human resource specialist, where many people who begin their career in human resources at the human resource specialist position, the demand is supposed to be even greater at 8% growth over the next 10 years. So definitely a good career prospects in human resources.
So what opportunities do you currently see in the job market? Like what comes to mind about what's available, what jobs are being posted right now?
That's a good question. HR encompasses quite a lot, everything from hiring and recruiting to working with compensation and benefits, workforce planning, training and development, quite a bit. Really everything that it entails to help manage the people, the workers, the human resources within an organization. Smaller organizations will have roles such as a human resource generalist that does a little bit of everything because, you know, everyone's expected to do a little bit more in a smaller organization. So they might work with everything from hiring and recruiting to onboarding and working with open enrollment and benefits, development of HR policy, all the way up to completing performance reviews, performance management, a little bit of everything. But the larger the organization, the more opportunities there are to specialize. So if you're interested in really staying in one particular area, if you really enjoy recruiting, you can specialize in that area, or working in analytics, HR analytics, if you like working with data and technology. Or if you'd like to work more in training and development, you can specialize in that as well. So smaller organizations are going to have a little bit different type of positions than larger organizations. And if you are just starting out in human resources or looking to move into human resources, the type of position you might be interested in would be like the HR assistant position or an HR coordinator position where you're able to learn the ropes, gain the skills and knowledge in human resources to help you advance in your career. Mid-career HR professionals might be looking more for a position such as the HR analyst, where you're crunching numbers using data and different programs to project the workforce needs of an organization, or the HR business partner, where you're consulting with different departments within an organization on their resource needs. They're planning for different positions and different projects that they might need to train for or develop employees or hire for. And the more senior you get in human resources, the type of positions you might be looking for would be the HR manager, where you're managing a whole department of HR professionals, potentially the vice president or VP of HR in larger organizations. And many corporations now have the position of chief human resource officer. That's definitely something to aspire to. So you can spend your whole career from entry level, mid, all the way to advanced executive positions in human resources. The type of salaries you might expect to receive in human resources, entry level might be in the $50,000 to $60,000 range, where human resource leaders are well over $100,000 typically per year for really reasonable salary for the roles and responsibilities that they have. So definitely many opportunities out there. A quick search on Indeed.com in the Twin Cities area generates hundreds of excellent opportunities in HR.
I always think of fourth quarter is probably one of the busiest times for HR professionals, right? With open enrollment. I know here at St. Mary's, we've been getting regular emails from our HR department to make sure we enroll for 2025. So that comes to mind when you talk about, the position of a benefits person, right? In addition to all the other possibilities in the field of human resource management. And Matt, when we were preparing for this conversation today, I mentioned to you one of my recent MBA graduate students who added human resource management to their MBA degree and wanted to pivot in her career and recognize that an HR certificate of 4 courses was going to be the catalyst, if you will, to be able to change careers and change companies. She ultimately ended up changing companies altogether, but I was really pleased to hear from her over the summertime that as a result of her human resource certificate and that knowledge and insight that she'd gained in that graduate certificate on top of her MBA, she was able to successfully navigate into a career in human resource management. I think that's just a great story to hear about the value of the education and the work that she wanted to do. So she informally was doing some of that kind of work in her old position and wanted to have more education tied to that. And that's why she was interested in the human resource certificate here at St. Mary's. But I was grateful to hear from her because it's rewarding to hear from a student who invests in their education, right? And took the extra time to add a certificate to her MBA credential and then was able to pivot in her career. So I think you've answered this already, but some of the most common positions someone might expect to see in human resources, anything else that you wanted to add? You touched on the different the positions as well as the salary. Anything else you want to add to that?
Yes, that's a good question. So there are, in terms of your skills and background, some of the more in-demand areas in human resources would be in like processing payroll or compensation and benefits, hiring and recruiting. And so if you have experience in those areas, it's really important to highlight that on your resume as you're looking for positions. Really highlight HR titles. If you've worked in HR with a title related to HR, really make sure to highlight that. And if you're interested in moving into human resources and you have not formally worked in HR before, it's really helpful and I would say vital to emphasize transferable skills. So, for example, customer service. Customer service is something that many people do in a variety of different roles and gain that skill and that knowledge and that experience in a variety of different ways. And you can use that and leverage that experience to show that you can be responsive to colleagues in the workplace, because that's really the role of human resources is to really help manage the individuals, the people within the organization, protect the interests of the company, and then also look out for the interests of your coworkers and your colleagues. So to demonstrate that you can be responsive to your colleagues' needs and requests can be very helpful and important. And if you've ever been asked to to step out of your typical role or responsibilities a little bit and help in something like being on a hiring committee or onboarding a new colleague or coworker or training someone in on a computer program that you know how to use and your colleague doesn't know. Those are all HR related skills that can be helpful to really demonstrate that you've done if you've never had an HR title to help show that you can be an asset to an HR department still, even if you have not worked in that area before. So some good strategies to consider.
That's great. And the term you use, business partner, too, I often think of that in different jobs and different organizations that I work for. That colleague in human resource for me as a sales leader oftentimes was the business partner, right? To have a conversation around hiring, recruiting, retention, or if there were challenges with personnel, right? To develop an improvement plan. And that partnership, the business partner, in addition to a whole lot of other terms that are used as a human resource professional, is one that always really stood out to me as really an important part of that leadership and organization. So, Matt, can you talk about what are some of the current hottest topics and current trends right now in human resources?
Yes, thank you, Mary. There are, like many industries, many sectors, many career paths, there's a lot of things going on right now in human resources, but there are, I think, three things that I would like to stress that I think really everyone should be aware of. And they're all interestingly interrelated. The first is technology. And by what I mean technology, we really mean artificial intelligence right now, right?
Mhm.
It's affecting all parts of our economy, and human resources is not unique in that way. According to a recent study by the Harvard Business Review, 65% of managerial tasks will be automated in just the next few years. So if you think about that, well, there's a lot of the tasks that you might spend time on in your day in an HR perspective that could be, processing payroll or completing paperwork or doing your like mandatory reporting on your employees or performance reviews. Those type of things are increasingly going to be done by technology, artificial intelligence, different programs and platforms. And so what are we going to do with that 65% increase in time for human resource managers? That's going to be dedicated more on strategic activities like workforce planning and more advanced development planning, succession planning, really more advanced HR skill areas. And we're still kind of in experimental phase right now with artificial intelligence, where those of us who are excited about AI are getting your hands in there and playing with different platforms and different tools to see how we can leverage AI to make our jobs easier or increase our productivity. So some are excited about it, but then some others might be fearful of how AI might affect their jobs or their career path, what the future is going to look like. So many organizations now are realizing they need to get ahead of that by developing policy around the use of AI, especially ethical use of AI, like in recruiting and hiring practices. That AI is already being used for recruiting and hiring. So making sure it's being done in an ethical way to ensure diversity and inclusion. But then also training employees. So being real mindful and purposeful about which programs we want employees to be using in their jobs and why and how, and providing the training that's needed. And AI in HR, human resource professionals will really be vital in that, on all parts of that, and providing the training and helping to develop the policy around the use of AI. So that's one thing that's really important going on right now. Another thing I'd like to highlight, flexible work arrangements. Our ability to leverage technology to do our shopping online, to communicate with friends and family online, potentially attend our chosen houses of worship online, is all increasing quite a bit. And, the pandemic just accelerated that process, right? With our comfort level and doing things online. It's become part of our culture. And many workers, many individuals think it's just a logical step to think, why not? Why can't I work online? I do everything else online. It seems reasonable that I could do my job completely online as well. So there's a increasing expectation that that be available and that be offered to employees. However, on the other side of the coin, employers and many executives are really changing their thoughts about the potential and the positives of having a remote workforce. A recent study by KPMG stated 83% of the chief executives surveyed expect a full return to the office in the next 3 years. And we see that playing out in stories about Amazon and Starbucks. I was just reading a news article about Starbucks calling corporate employees all back to the office. And so there's going to be an increasing chasm there, I'd call it, between expectations of the employees and the expectations of employers around flexible work arrangements, remote work, and HR, again, will play a key role in figuring out how to navigate that. And it's going to involve incentives in a lot of the cases, maybe changes of salary or work development opportunities, finding ways to incentivize employees to be comfortable with giving up the autonomy and the flexibility of working remotely. And then I think the third thing I'd like to highlight would be employee well-being. And these things are all related, right? Technology and flexible work arrangements, employee well-being. Many employees are feeling increasing stress and significant challenges related to financial stress with increasing inflation and salaries not keeping up with inflation, and still pandemic-related mental health challenges, and just the challenges of modern life. A 2024 SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management study found 44% of U.S. workers are burnt out. So, and that's related to the quiet quitting phenomenon that's been talked about quite a bit recently, where people may show up for work but are not completely engaged or doing 100% their best job. And so, in financial stress alone is the number one concern for employees. On the other hand, another survey found recently that 83% of executives think that employee well-being is improving. The pandemic is over, right? And everyone's doing better now. And so there's a big disconnect between the leadership of organizations who may feel that things are on the way up, and then the workers who are still feeling quite a bit of stress and an uncertainty with their careers and all the layoffs that you hear about. And so HR, again, will play an important role in mediating that disconnect potentially between employers and employees on how employees are doing, and finding ways to improve the mental and physical and well-being of the workforce, all really paramount for organizations to be successful.
That's a great overview, Matt. We could spend a whole session on remote workforce, right? And the challenges that many organizations face right now. And oftentimes we read in the paper too about companies selling buildings and giving up their real estate as they really try to understand the back to work, or what that's going to look like in their future, and really grapple with the impact on employees in the workforce and recruiting and retention. So that's a great overview. You touched a bit ago on the skills employers that are looking for, like as an HR professional. Anything else you want to add in addition, when you talked about customer service skills, and like anything additionally you want to speak to about what you think a good skill set is for an HR professional?
To be honest, the most helpful thing is to have specific experience in HR. If you've worked, more entry-level HR roles, had the HR title, and you're able to show that you're gaining the education and the
Mhm.
skills and knowledge needed to help take the step from a more of an entry level to more of a leadership position in the HR organization. That is wonderful if you're able to do that. But if you have not formally worked in HR and you're looking to transition, I would say asking your employer for job expansion opportunities to gain those skills. Many people get into HR but they stumble into it by their HR employee, their HR professional maybe left the organization and they're asked to kind of fill in, or they're asked to be on a hiring committee, or they're asked to process something to help out the HR department, and they find that they might have an acumen for it or interest in working in HR. So looking for ways to build that knowledge base, and maybe even through like an internship if you're in that stage in your life where you could consider that. But if you're already employed, looking for ways to build the HR related skills, like I mentioned earlier, the recruiting and hiring, or performance reviews, training and development. Those are all really key skills. And then like customer service is also something that's just so transferable and helpful to show that you are coachable
Mhm.
and trainable and interested in learning. That is really the number one most sought after skill by employers right now, and in any role, is coachability. They understand that not everyone is going to walk in the door with all the skills they need. So they want to hire people that want to learn and have a little humility that they don't know everything and are coachable and easy to work with. And so that if you're able to demonstrate that you can do that, that you want to play ball, you want to learn and grow, employers will be very receptive to that.
That's a great overview. I would add one other caveat, and that's being able to manage confidential information, right? In
Hmm.
human resource, there's a lot that goes on in different roles too, but being able to keep that information confidential and then having really good, strong communication skills on top of what you just listed, because there's a lot of kind of expectations, if you will, to do well in your role. It's a key position in any organization. Um, Let's talk a little bit about education. You've talked, I think, a good amount already about the background, but if you want to add any more to that. So when you think about what type of education, what would be relevant for people that are on our call today to know more about how they can advance in their careers, or for those that might be interested in starting in career and possibly pivoting in their careers right now into roles in human resource management?
Excellent question. I would say in the entry-level roles, the education that's going to be expected and most sought after would be a bachelor's degree in a business-related area.
Okay.
In the resource management would be the ideal, but in business-related area for sure. And gaining experience in HR. So it's kind of two sides of the same coin. Having the education and gaining the experience are both important. And we do have an excellent bachelor completion degree, Bachelor of Science in Human Resource Management at St. Mary's. If there's anyone on the call today that is looking to complete their bachelor's degree, we have an excellent program that is SHRM aligned, Society of Human Resource Management, and will allow you to earn that credential that will make you an excellent candidate for many entry-level HR positions. And if you are a little bit more advanced in your human resource career, looking for more mid-level or more leadership level type of positions, or if you're interested in transitioning into HR and you already have a significant professional background, I would encourage people to consider human resource certifications like Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM, and HRCI, another professional organization, offers some excellent certifications, which are great, but even more valuable would be a graduate certificate in human resource management or a master's degree in human resource management. And we have both of those available at St. Mary's. We have some excellent programs. And our colleague Madeline was just able to bring up kind of a nice visual
Mhm.
of our master's degree in human resource management. We offer at St. Mary's. It is fully online, SHRM aligned, and by SHRM aligned, that means that the Society for Human Resource Management, the #1 professional organization for HR, has looked at this curriculum and said, yes, that is what you should be teaching master's students in HR. Covers all the bases. And at a full-time pace can be done in 1 year, part-time pace, 2 years. And the skills that you take away from this program would be everything that we've talked about today, from human resource strategy to human resource analytics, how to crunch numbers and tell the story with numbers to help make workforce planning decisions around what gaps you may have in the workforce right now and how you're going to fill those gaps strategically moving forward. Performance management, training and development, employment law, vital, because HR professionals are the go-to experts for employment law. Labor relations and working with unions, if you're working in a union environment, globalization, diversity, compensation benefits, really all the foundational HR skills and knowledge you need. And also at the master's degree level, the leadership skills that you need to take on more leadership roles in HR departments. And so that is the full master's degree. We also have the 12-credit graduate certificate, which is HRM 601, 606, employment law, 613, compensation and benefits, and 614, negotiating and consulting. And that negotiating and consulting is where you learn all the skills to be an effective HR business partner, working with different departments in your organization to help them with their HR planning needs. And so whether you choose the certificate or the full master's degree, you will obtain all the skills and knowledge you really need to be professional in the HR area.
That's a great overview, and it's a very comprehensive master's program as well as the certificate. Excellent 4 courses to give to someone who wants to advance with a master's level certificate. Matt, any final comments? Anything else you'd like to add in addition to what you've already spoken to, right, about careers and skill sets, and of course now more information about degrees in HR management?
I think I'd just like to stress that this program has been around at St. Mary's for a long time. It is continuously updated, it's relevant and current, has everything you need. And we have alumni from this program all over the country, but many in Minnesota and in the Twin Cities. We have alumni working at excellent organizations such as 3M, Target, IBM, Mayo Clinic, Hennepin County, many different nonprofit organizations around the area. So it's tried and true. It opens doors to professional development and professional and career growth. And anyone who is interested in learning more about this program, I highly encourage you to reach out to myself or our admissions department. Be happy to have a chat with you about how this might align with your future plans.
That's excellent. And with that, let's see if we have any questions that, again, people could put in the chat, or if you'd like to. I'm not sure that you can actually come live or not, but Madeline, do we have any questions?
I don't believe any questions have come in, but let me double check. Nope, I think we are good. And so maybe it would be a good time, Madeline, if you wouldn't mind moving to the next slide with a little bit of more information on our upcoming speakers. And Mary, would you like to talk about this? Or
Oh, Marcy has a question.
Yes. Mercy, would you like to go ahead and type it out, or how would you like to proceed? And maybe while Mercy is doing that, we can talk a little bit about the upcoming speakers.
Great, thank you. And Madeline has just put up the topics as well as the schedule for the next several months. We've got one a little less than a month from now. Our next one is on bridging the gap between leadership and project managers, and that will be hosted by Bill Johnson, who is the leader in our program. program director for the Masters in Project Management. So I welcome you to join that next one, and any one of these topics around AI, nonprofit sector, the science of well-being. And then I'm actually doing one in April, a few months from now, on exploring entrepreneurship. And Matt, I think we've got a couple that are coming through now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to try to unmute Mercy, see if I'm able to do that, to see if she
Okay.
here.
And thanks to Shannon.
No, I don't know if I have the ability to do that. So, Mercy, are you able to quick just type your question in the chat?
Hello,
Thanks,
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, yep. Now I can.
Okay, perfect. I've been trying to speak, but I guess you guys couldn't hear me.
Yeah,
Like
just
you
go
already
ahead.
know, okay, like you already know my name, Mercy. Thank you, Mary and Dr. Matt. It was really an interesting session. Mary, you kind of hit the questions, like nailed it on the head, my questions that I have to ask. And Dr. Matthew kind of answered a little bit about my questions that I have today. But I think like if I could get like some more light into the question, and the question is, for people who are expecting or looking forward to starting a career in HR or trying to change career paths. You already said transferable skills are one of the great things to do when you're trying to apply, to work in HR. And I just wanted to know if there are any other things that you could, add, because I know like there's different school of thought. Some people like to work and, acquire knowledge and acquire working skills while they grow towards their career. Others, another school of thought, think, oh, just keep reading until you get to where you want to be at. So for the second school of thought, I think like, oh, let's just keep acquiring certificates and just keep reading. For them to start up a position in like HR, what are those, ways or, things to suggest to them to pivot the careers moving forward? And, if you could just throw more light on it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for your question, Mercy. I appreciate it. I would say that in human resources, if you'd like to work in that area and you don't have a certain experience, or if you are kind of at the entry level and you want to advance in your career in HR, the main things, I think there are three things I would stress. First of all, HR related education, and you touched on that, Mercy. And if you either bachelor's level to kind of more entry level, bachelor's in business or bachelor's in HR is even better. And we have a great program at St. Mary's. If you're more advanced in your career, then I'd say the graduate certificate or graduate or full master's degree in HR be very helpful to show that you have the knowledge and skills and the leadership ability to advance in HR. And then the second thing would be HR certifications. I mentioned SHRM and HRCI both offer HR certifications that are very, very highly respected in the field. And so I would encourage people to check those out. Just you can Google SHRM or HRCI and learn about the different types of certifications available. And they are kind of a badge of proof that you are, a certified professional in HR, and it gives potential employers confidence in reviewing your application that you have the knowledge and skills. And then I would say third would be the experience, and gaining experience through formal internships. If you are able, not everyone, I completely understand, not everyone is able at your stage of life to do an internship. If you're able to do them, they're great. Or looking for ways to do job growth, job enhancement. If you're currently employed, finding ways to build skills with your current employer that you can maybe parlay into an HR job in the future. And so I guess those are the main things I'd highlight, the education certification and the experience.
And Matt, can I add on to that too? So Mercy, that's a great question. I was actually just meeting with a couple of my MBA students last night, and we were kind of debriefing their internships that they both recently wrapped up. And one of them in particular had a lot of work on different platforms like Salesforce and others in her role in her internship. And as we were kind of speaking to how do you highlight relevant work experience in her case, the fact that she's been able to work on a platform like Salesforce, which is a global platform, CRM type platform. If you've got that kind of an experience, and Matt, I thought you did a really good comprehensive about the skill set, right, of what people should have, like the organizational skills, the business acumen, communication skills. Connect the dots, if you will, because sometimes it's not a linear path to how you say, this is what I've done in my career to date, and now I want to make this change, to the HR field position. But find ways that are relevant from work experience that you have. So it could be leading teams. It could be as, I like your example, Matt, if you've been involved on a hiring committee, right? All those things add up because that's part of the kinds of work that you'll be doing in the HR field, again, depending on your position. But look at your work history and see what's relevant and then be able to use that in some capacity, right? To make the connection. Because sometimes when it's that first job and you're pivoting into a field and you don't have experience, that's why these credentials I think are really important. But more than likely, you're interested in it because you've done something relevant to the HR field and try to find a way to articulate that valuable work experience and how that connects to a human resource position.
Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
I thank you very much. That was really some really helpful tips. Like we've already established, it's studying the career, and that's where the challenge comes from for a lot of employees looking to get employed and following their career path and all of that. And one thing I think I got from this is like Dr. Matt said is just keep getting certifications. Like I said, the second school of thought, like just keep reading, keep studying, and until you get there. And yeah, I hear you, and I gained a lot from this session. Thank you very much, Mary, for adding on to what you added. And yeah, thank you guys.
You're
And
most welcome.
yes, thank you, Mercy. And I just put my email in the chat there. Please, anyone, and Mercy, feel free to shoot me an email if you'd like to strategize a little bit on your career planning. I'm happy to help if that'd be helpful. And don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
All right.
Matt, Mary posed a question in the chat. Completion of the certificate program at St. Mary's, does it qualify you for a SHRM certification?
It's an excellent question, and it's good to be clear about. There is a difference between a certificate and certification. Our full master's degree in human resource management does an excellent job of preparing students for HRCI and SHRM certification. The capstone is built around, uses really the certification manuals for the different organization certifications. The certificate is 4 courses. Our graduate certificate in HR is 4 courses. The full master's degree is 12 courses. So I would not say that our 4-course graduate certificate would be everything you need to sit down and take a SHRM certification exam. It will do an excellent job of laying the foundation of some of the main skills you need in HR, and it'll point you in the direction of where you might need to do a little bit more studying and a little bit more prep for a certification exam. So the certificate alone does not guarantee that you'll get a certification from SHRM or HRCI, but they are excellent resource to help get your foot in the door and help you build the skills. And what some students like to do is take the certificate. You get your 4 courses completed in as little as 2 semesters, potentially. You have your graduate certificate, and you can put that on your resume. And then some decide, it's 2 semesters done. Wow, that was easier and quicker than I thought. I'm just going to continue. I'm going to go roll right into the rest of the whole master's degree. And so you have your certificate on your resume right away, and then you can continue working towards the full master's degree. And so something to consider, and a lot of students are finding valuable. And then when you're done with the master's degree, or even potentially before then, you might feel prepared to sit for a certification exam. Does that answer your question, Mary? I hope that was helpful. Excellent. Any other questions that have come in that I've missed?
Okay, I've got one here. If you, or Catherine, I'll read it to you, Matt. If you have completed the HRM master's program, do you automatically receive the certificate?
We do not have a system in place to automatically issue the graduate certificate to those who complete the whole master's degree, but that might be an opportunity. There's potential there. And so please reach out to me. If you're an alum of the full master's degree and you're interested in the certificate, reach out to me and we could talk about that. If you already have a full master's degree, adding the certificate, one could discuss whether that adds value or not. It's kind of the certificate and then the full master's degree. So if you already have the full master's degree, retroactively adding the certificate may or may not add value, but please reach out to me and happy to talk through options there.
Does it add? Okay. Catherine, I think we answered it. Good question.
Okay, I think we might be reaching the end of the questions. So thank you so much, everyone, for your participation and your engagement and interest in our presentation today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And Mary, thank you so much for the excellent questions. And I appreciate everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Take care.